Afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our July software release webinar where Matthew is going to share the new course import tool that he's created. So we're excited to see that, and if you have questions, just drop me a note in the chat box and I will get those to Matthew. So I'm seeing that people are hearing us. We've done our sound check, and I am going to turn things over to Matthew so he can give us a demonstration of this course import. And as always, if you're interested to know what bugs have been fixed and other new things, you can visit that in the forum and get all the updates for both Manager and ACEware. So Matthew, I am trying to get this over to you.
Okay. And I'd have to apologize because it looked like when I went to make my form entry this morning for yesterday's release, I noticed I didn't make one for June. So
so it was. Well, you were occupied in June with the conference coming up, so.
Sure,
well, Matthew,
blame
I
it on
am
that.
seeing your screen, so we are ready for you to give us a demonstration of this new tool.
So I've got here just kind of a simple little Excel spreadsheet here with some data, some course data, just to kind of be our template for importing today. Just two little courses, and actually I've got Michael and me as instructors in these two courses. I'm actually not in my demo database, I don't think. I'll look up real quick. Yeah, no Matthew Olson, but Michael is in the system. And in that case, if I can get back to my spreadsheet, in that case, it's going to use the email address and match Mike and not create a second record for him when I do this import. It will create a new record for me since I don't have one, and I'm not specifying very much information here, so there's not going to be much in that record, but at least it gives a start. If there are more than one instructor, more than one fee on your courses, you can specify them kind of like how I've got grouping codes here, just with a group A, group B. Just make sure you lump related information together. So you don't want to put email, two different email columns right next to each other, because then the system is going to bug out. But if you put email first, last for a second instructor in your Excel spreadsheet, you can import this in. So let's see this. And actually, I'm using my SQL Server demo database today simply because I've done this import way too many times in my other demo, so we're doing it this way. Under Tools, Import, Export, Course Import Wizard, right under the name Import Wizard. And actually, this works pretty much exactly like the name Import Wizard. First, ask you what file to open. Notice it does try to go for the new style Excel and the old style, so XLSX or XLS, either way. By the way, this import routine does require that your machine have Excel on the machine, because it is actually accessing Microsoft Excel to do this import. So that if you are running Student Manager like on a server or something where you don't have Excel, you'll have to get with your IT to see if it's possible to install Excel on your server to use this. But if I go out here to my desktop, my course imp.xlsx, hit OK, and it's going to go through each field that I've got, or each column in the Excel spreadsheet, and ask which field in Student Manager is this relating to. If I had pre-processed, I guess, in my Excel spreadsheet and actually put the student manager scientific column names or field names, it would have automatically defaulted my drop down to that field, but I don't have that here, so we'll go through this. And you will see, instructor items in here, course items, location, fees, where's my course number? Course code. Click OK. Oh, by the way, this does require that your Excel spreadsheet have a course number column in it. If it doesn't, then it's just, once you get done with selecting columns, it'll just say, nope, can't do it, and bail out of it. So make sure you have that. Let's see, course title. If I go down here. I'm typing the first letter to kind of jump me down into these. Okay. Course begin. Somewhere. Okay. Course end. Jump down here. Passed it. And sessions. Oh, that's actually first thing in the list. Number of sessions. Fee description, I think, is fee desk. Okay. Fee amount. I passed it. Okay. This will be, let's see. Yeah, email instruct. I've done this a few times, so I kind of remember some of these. First name instruct. Last name instruct. Grouping code. First grouping code. And so this, when it is the same thing, or you're specifying the same column twice, just go ahead and select it twice. The system will compensate for that. Let's see, location building room. Okay. Is there a header? Yes. The header would be the first row here. My course title, begin, end. So I did say yes to giving that. It does preview everything, so you can make sure, for one thing, your date format is correct. With both the name import wizard and the course import wizard, your date needs to be in come on, the star 3/14/2001 type. Chuck and I were messing around the other day, and he had this one down here as his date type. It was not pulling in to the name import wizard, so make sure you've got this first date type as your dates in your Excel spreadsheet, so that it does pull into. But this preview can at least make sure you're getting things like that, and we should be getting information in all these columns, so it looks good. Control Q to continue. And it's adding. And I got a big fat error message, of course. Apparently I changed. Oh, I'm not running the latest executable. That's part of the problem. So I will test that out and make sure the latest executable doesn't do this, but it looks like, yeah, it's trying to create my instructor record and it's failing for some reason. So I will have to look into that and make sure that isn't. So I can't show the instructor record, but I can show the facts of life. Here's one of the courses that it just created. Michael Lowry. Notice it's not saying Mike the Man Lowry like I have it in my Excel spreadsheet, because it is it linked up with his old instructor record. So it brought in those grouping codes, brought in everything else I specified, registration fee of $1, facts of life are cheap, I guess. Find my other course, which was everything you want to know about nightmares, look for nightmares. And because my instructor record didn't link up properly, I've got that, or didn't import properly, I've got an error with that. But other than that, I've got things going in everywhere else you would expect. Expensive, of course. So, any questions?
While your people are typing in questions here, one of the things, Matthew, I was wondering, do you have more of a robust set of an Excel file that kind of has the student manager, like I said, scientific names on it that we could perhaps share with folks if they wanted to, be able to, start with a spreadsheet that has the names kind of lined up to get them started? Or are you pulling off of your test set? You probably got dozens of test files out there to just, kind of create a master template that would let folks get a head start. So,
well, it seems like I have a pretty big, robust one somewhere.
In one of your, in one of your test sets, I'm sure. So, anyway, that would be something. So that for the folks attending, so if you do want to try this, shoot Matthew a note, and he can give you. And maybe we can get it put up in the file download of the customer website, template for course import, starter template. Now, if the columns are empty, if we did do that and people did not fill out a column, will the system ignore blank values or just puts in blanks in the record? It will. Okay.
Yeah, I'll put a default. Trying to think. So yeah, with my fees, I didn't put a hide on web or member code or fee expires or anything like that. So it defaulted those for me. But those were actually in. But if like I left the end date blank or something, it would just come over as a blank date and things like that.
And Kelly's asking if there's a way to export a course record to Excel and use it as a template. Kelly, that would work for the native fields in the course table, but Matthew references some of the fields like instructor name. So Matthew, I don't know on instructor name what. So you may still need to edit some of the columns in that approach, but
at least it gives them a place to start. So.
Yeah, it would. Yeah. So the idea of exporting a course report, and you get the native fields in the course report. So in a course export. So, but again, we're going to bug Matthew to get a kind of a fairly complete template that has grouping code examples and instructor examples that would perhaps not be in a normal export. So. And again, ignoring some of the internal fields that you might be coming out, like the OID and some of the other. Now, a date stamping, if you look at the bottom, you'll note the date, the add date, the update date. Those were not in the basic Excel file, and those did get stamped, automatically stamped. So.
Well, and you can't even choose those out of the drop down.
They're hidden
because those are assigned by the system. Same thing with created by and updated by. Okay. So yeah, certain things like that are taken care of by the system.
All right. All right. Well, getting again some buzz, happy buzz. And again, Karen asked about using the name imports, that the Excel spreadsheet can only have one worksheet, and I believe that's true also in Excel, that you wouldn't have multiple worksheets in an Excel file, you'd need to have one worksheet per file, like sheet 1, sheet 2, sheet 3, or can you specify if there are multiple sheets?
Yeah, this will ask. I only have one sheet on this one, but yeah, if there are multiple sheets, it'll ask which sheet to import.
Oh, it does.
You can only import one sheet at a time.
At a time, okay.
But it'll ask which sheet you want to do. So
does the name import whiz have that built into it yet? It does.
Yep. Yeah, that's been there since the beginning.
Okay, Karen, you might want to send us a sample of that spreadsheet that had multiple sheets, or that Excel file with multiple sheets, and let's do a test on it. So
yeah, because I don't know if
I've do that.
I don't know if I've tested that since the name import wizard was built, and maybe I've broken it since then. But yeah, it should.
It's supposed to. Okay.
That.
Okay. Okay. All right, Sharon. Any others that I'm seeing? I'm kind of double dutying with you. I'm taking over your. Very good.
I'm not seeing any other questions, but I know the top 4 tips for this: that you have to have Excel, you have to have a course number column, has to have a header, and you need to pick the star month, date, year from your, format them in that way.
You don't have to have a header. You can just have data. Yeah, just make sure when that question comes up, is there a header, you say no, and it'll just start. The first row then would be data row. So
okay, I heard you correctly.
Disadvantage of not having the header, if you did put in the header, and as we've talked about, name those header columns to the ACEware field names, it'll automatically match them up. You don't have to pick the match from the drop down. So
Matthew, could you show that date selection again? We have some folks who'd like to see that date selection again.
The format?
Yes.
Yeah. So it's the date, the category is date, and the type is that *3/14/2001. So it yeah, I don't know why it makes a difference, but Microsoft, I guess, that's different than that other format somehow, and makes a big difference.
Tim asked about memo fields. Memo fields are, can you do memo fields like NM comments or I mean NM CO note print or CO note end print?
Yeah, because it'd be just a really long Excel column.
Right.
It's the inverse isn't true. You can't export a memo out of Student Manager into Excel because Excel can't handle that memo. But you could type forever and a day in an Excel spreadsheet, and it'll take it, and then that'll be imported into Student Manager just fine.
Okay, so the answer to memo field imports is yes, absolutely. Does it support building catalog code? Does it have the ability, if you had a catalog record data, CA code and CA description, for your catalog description?
No, this relies on existing catalog codes. So you could do the co-cat code field in here, but you couldn't specify a catalog.
Couldn't import virgin or brand new catalogs.
Right.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Sharon, I think we seem to be covering this. Matthew, you want to highlight any other elements in 53 that you want to bring attention to? Otherwise, we'll see if any other questions pop up on this as you might review any other goodies or new stuff.
I don't think there was. Yeah, this was a pretty big deal to get it together and ready for conference. So yeah, this is pretty much the only thing that was at least new feature-wise that went out in 53. Yeah. So yeah, this has been years in coming and getting this done. So
several people have been asking for this. So good job. So
Yep, and I know Martin at UCF, he downloaded the new student manager like today because I released it late last night. He's downloaded it today, and he's going to be playing with this pretty soon. So
cool. All right. So again, when you get this, you want to play with it. Again, one note on that is that if you wanted, one of the suggestions, of course, is the new demo, the 53 demo, up on the download, Matthew?
Yes. Yep. I make the demo right the same time as I make the regular.
Okay, so
yep.
If you, one of the things I might recommend for those of you that are wanting to try this is that when you build your course file that you're going to import, download a 53 Student Manager demo and do the import into the demo. And that way you kind of flush out any data issues where you misnamed a header on the file or didn't have the data dates set properly before you drop them into the real database, because while you can delete them once they're in, obviously it's better to try to get them in right the first time and not have to go back and do a lot of cleanup. So all right, Sharon, you want to talk about the web? I think there's not much going on really with dates on ACEware, or I can kind of review that.
That's fine. Go ahead. There are just some administrative changes.
Yeah, the main thing on the web, and there's really ACEware. If you can flip back, Sharon, I guess take control back and flip back to the version number. I think the ACEware release right now is 44. And again, functionally for end users and students, there really isn't much in the way, nothing really new here. There are a couple of behind-the-scenes administrative tweaks to the setup, but again, really nothing that, is, I think, consequential, some tweaks in there. So there are some new things going on with the Quick Pick module for those of you with Quick Pick. Stein is working on some updates to Quick Pick, adding a couple new pieces of functionality, the ability to use coupon discounts, but that won't be coming until the August release is the goal on that. So, all right. Other questions? I'm trying to think. Tim has got lots of good questions. Matthew, what happens if you try to import a course that would already be existing in Student Manager?
It skips it.
It skips it. So again, you would not get a duplicate course number in the system. You don't know by chance if it reports as part of the diagnostics at the end that there were 3 courses that already existed in the system. That might be if somebody is not paying attention and importing the same report again and again and again.
I don't know off the top of my head. I can look that up though.
Yeah, but that might be a little tweak to add, Matthew, in the diagnostics. How many courses were imported, how many courses previously existed, for folks who might have large sets and they forgot what they imported. So, good point, Tim. But yeah, it will not duplicate the course, and so that's a good thing. It would be a bad thing to have the duplicate course numbers. Sharon, anything else? Matthew, anything else you want to offer? Otherwise, like I said, we'll try to keep these brief and to the point.
Yep.
And
well, I do want to remind everything of just a couple of things real quick that our next, are you seeing my screen now?
Yep,
okay.
We're good.
That our next training webinar is next Thursday on the 20th at 1:30 Central Time, and it's on managing membership courses. So this is a popular topic. I expect to see a full house on that. And also remind folks that these webinars are being recorded, and we've added a new software updates section to our webinar archive. So if you need to come back and review anything, those webinars are posted here.
Very good. All right. Well, I will again. I would remind people that if you the webinar area that Sharon is showing here, it's under Customers, Webinar, Webinar Archive. There is a lot of good information in there. If you have not been going back and browsing those titles, I highly recommend them. There's some great tools in there and resources for you to get the most out of your manager. So, Matthew, thank you much. Sharon, thank you again for putting this together. We will let people go and look forward to seeing you next week on membership management.
Bye, everyone.
Have a good day.
Take care.